I know I've been wanting to learn that one because FF6 is one of my favorite games of all time. I just don't want to ruin the excitement of it.
Oh. And here we are, we're starting off already, and this game is very much known in a racing sense for its RNG, and that comes into play as soon as the first enemy you encounter. The tutorial, quote-unquote, boss can actually kill you, and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. If it decides to kill you, it will kill you. There's nothing you can do about it. In a normal attempt, that's absolutely fine, because it doesn't matter. But in a race, obviously, that's a bit of a setback. It's not too much, but it can happen. And Couch is obviously going to confuse me by having his name be Natara in the game, so I'll randomly accidentally call him Natara.
Yeah.
That might be the intention, I don't know.
Did we finally get audio?
I believe that you can turn on the audio now. I think Fiesel has, in fact. I've noticed it in the other races that I can hear the audio.
Yeah, well, it's the first time for me, so that's why I was just curious on that one. But Coach is way ahead, right? Well, not that much far ahead.
Very rarely I'll listen to the commentary via the commentary feeds. Probably shouldn't be doing that, but...
Hey, I feel ya. We'll pull up chat, though, on my cell phone, so that way at least can see what chat's, saying about us, and how bad we're doing in commentary.
I have 3 different monitors. So one of the things that they're doing here is this is the first town. They need to get the cure spell. That is very important for this run, actually. Not just as a healing spell being useful. It's actually more useful as a damage spell.
Yeah, as is life.
Yeah, both. Well, life is used way more for a for healing.
You'd be surprised about how many mods you can actually take out with life.
Oh yeah, I know that, but it being able to save runs when you have access to it, because we never pick it up with Benjamin, who is the actual name of the main character, or I think it's just in the manual. He's that.
Nah, it's actually named Benjamin. Square officially acknowledged it, because when they referred to it in Final Fantasy, Feudalism, Curtain Call, his name is actually Benjamin in there.
Oh, okay.
So apparently Square acknowledges it. But we've got some, just cheap tutorial fights, and just hope we don't die. We got the green slimes, which, oddly enough, have you ever tried casting magic on them? I know the later ones you can't.
I don't think you have access to magic yet at this point.
You have cure?
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't cast cure casually.
I know that. You know that one. And they're both approaching the Minotaur.
This is where cure kind of shines as a damage spell, just out of nowhere.
Well,
or life, I mean. It's just one shot the boss. So there's a button in this game where, for some reason, life and cure just kill enemies due to an error in how it programs and like AI or undead damage. It's basically some enemies are just coded improperly to interact with healing spells.
I know that. It's also weird that a lot of the mobs that become mobs, some of them when they're bosses will still be weak to life. You'll see that later in the game. Oh, and here's our most hated party member of all time.
Yeah, he likes to miss. He's the 2 times we have him in the party. One very long period of time and one very short period of time. It's very frustrating periods of time. His ranged attacks in general are somewhat inaccurate, except for the bomb. And Tristram is nicknamed Mistrum for a reason.
Well, I wouldn't call it that. I mean, I even did this during my last PB attempt. I actually took him to meet himself in Fireburg.
Oh yeah, I mean you can do that. You can do
It was
strange things
amusing.
like that.
I just did that because my current route that I actually posted in the Discord is kind of
Yep.
interesting, but it does have its positives to it. And that's the nice thing about this game. You have so many different variations, that you can do.
That we are in our first actual dungeon now. The other
Yeah,
dungeon is just kind of more of a. In most games, would just be an overworld area, but there's no real overworld. There's an overworld, but it's more of a just point and click map.
it's almost like Mario.
Yeah, but I mean, this was again a simple RPG. They didn't want you to get too lost.
Well, that is true. That is true.
This is the beginner RPG that Square created for specifically Europe, as well as
And the
America to a lesser
US.
extent. To a lesser extent, this was the first Final Fantasy for Europe, so it was primarily sent to them as a way like, hey, here's RPGs. I bet you've never ever seen these before.
Actually, from what I heard, it was the US first and then Europe.
Yep.
But that's because
Square
FF4 didn't
Enix
sell
didn't know
well.
that Europe existed for a while, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's sad. But then
They,
again, Europe got Terra Enigma, we got a bunch of other stuff.
This is true. Although, I mean, Terra Enigma was a great loss. But yeah, funny enough, this game is actually translates to Final Fantasy USA, I believe, in Japan.
Yes, it is. It's Final Fantasy USA.
Yeah, so it's definitely their attempt to Americanize it, and it is
Yeah.
it shows. It does not have many of the tropes you'd expect from like Final Fantasy at the time.
I believe the first lines Ben says in this game are, "My village is gone," and that's the last we hear of that.
The game's plot is very simple. This game though does have a lot of cool mechanics, like using weapons in the overworld. You'll see there using bombs.
Yeah.
Like blow things up. We used an axe to cut a tree. We can jump over things, which is a mechanic that some games could use.
Yeah, I think it wasn't brought back in Final Fantasy, at least openly, until, close to 13? And even then it was optional jumping?
Well, 13 had jumping points you could use, like for terrain, but you couldn't like jump
Yeah.
over NPCs and stuff.
Yeah.
There weren't NPCs in that game really, but like there were very few, and they were usually kind of cordoned off in their own area.
Yeah, except for, 2 and 3.
Yes.
Which I still say there are okay games. That's me.
I mean, it is funny. There's a lot of quote-unquote side games that have jump in, it seems, from Nintendo or from a Nintendo era. Link's Awakening is another jump in on the jump in everywhere. And some people consider Link's Awakening a side game because it was a portable game and it was definitely aimed to be portable, but definitely a main series game. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
But it is always interesting how these games always have like a very different flavor when they add this jump-in mechanic in.
I know. I mean, I used to love, you speaking of Link's Awakening, one of my favorite things to do was when Nintendo Power actually revealed hey, here's how you screen scroll in their literal, cheat section. It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna see how broken I can make this game then. I think a lot of us did that.
Yeah, and in this game you can jump as well, and jump to avoid things. We use that a few times to avoid.
And we're at our first boss, the Flamosaurus Rex. I don't know about you, but it really doesn't look like a Rex. Maybe a Jim or a Bob.
Like that. No, that looks like a T-Rex, or at least Square Enix's love of skeletal T-Rexes.
And both of them opting for the new Let's Skip Quake strats. Compliments of, some DDR noob who is also in this tournament? So I do have to say that is a nice, change for that one. And Coach, I don't get how you can deal with that lime green, menu. God, my eyes hurt from that. hey, it's not as bad as the Demon Chocobo.
I mean, Demon Jungle is not that as bad as people, I think, claim. But the blue is definitely a bit bright.
I wouldn't say it's that bad. It's just more the fact of just... I know from my personal experience, when I played 6, I always went with Flame 3. But then again, I also used the Cardinal Direction setup, which was cool too. But you'll see the runners healing the boss to death because, well, it's weak to cure. And Mars getting done the Flamosaurus in under 11 minutes, which is, you know, a decent time. If that's around my personal split, that one. What about you?
Sorry?
The Flamosaurus fight, getting through the Earth Crystal. What's your average on that one?
For me, roughly around like the 10:50, 10:45 mark.
Yeah, I guess it's because,
like,
you know...
as long as I don't die.
Yeah. Don't die on any of the bosses or any of the mobs. Just having a little bit of bad luck on that one, but it should be fine.
Like, I mean, can you call it an average if you reset every time something goes wrong at the fight? Because I haven't raced the game much, so most of my attempts have just been offline, just playing the game to see how fast I can go. And usually I just kind of let it die as it dies.
Yeah, that's sort of basically what I've been doing on some stuff as far as trying to crack the game, and just... Because streaming an entire run just is like, okay, I'll get to the tower. Hey, trying to cut down my PB time is just like, I got 20 minutes to actually try to match my PB, and I'm just getting down the tower. I think I'm gonna stop here. That tower is hell.
Marsh picked up an extra item after Flamosaurus. Couch is changing his menu even more.
I think he just wants to annoy us with it. Good on ya!
I do apologize for my voice. I lost it like last night. So my voice is a bit
I understand that completely. If you don't need to, if you just can barely comment here and there, it's better than nothing. Okay.
One of the cool things here is that we skip all of these monsters by jumping and then holding left, because we can move while we're on those sand tiles. The game lets us move, unlike most games where you lose all control of your character.
Well, we only have one square of movement.
Correct, and we use that square well.
Yeah, especially since it's very soft.
And now we are healing up a friend, and she's gonna rest. Our first ally, Taylor, she will be back later, and she
will 29 extra levels. Sorry.
Yep.
28.
Like I say, she is we just didn't realize it, but this is actually the continent of that Oblivion took place on. And if we would only sleep, we'd gain so many more levels.
Anybody know what continent that is from that game?
I want to say it started with a T.
I know it's not Morrowind.
No, Morrowind. It was a. Oh my goodness! I wish I remembered. I used to play that game all the time.
I know I'll be picking up Skyrim once it comes out for the Switch because I've got one.
Yeah. I have the same opinion as Jim Sterling on the Switch version. I'm going to do the exact same thing I've done 20 billion times already, but this time I'm going to do it in an airport.
Hey, or on the bathroom.
Yeah, it's. I mean, do you want to honestly? I'm gonna probably be buying a Switch sometime in the next few months, hopefully before.
I got it day one. I've loved it.
Yeah. The only thing that's fighting me back is the $400 price tag for Canadians. So.
I feel you on that one. I mean,
what's going on with Couch? Couch has horrendous internet. That's just Couch.
Yeah, at least it's not gone potatoes. But you'll see Marsh picking up Phoebe, who apparently asked us to help, defrost her village, and we need to get some sort of a crest for that one.
Yep.
It looks
so
like...
one of the one of the themes in this game, story-wise, if you don't know, is actually that each of the areas are kind of like a warped version of what their crystal is supposed to do. This is supposed to be a warm, like temperate area, but it's actually frozen over. The first area was supposed to have like a ripe forest, but because the earth crystal is gone, it's
decayed wasteland.
It's turning into a desert, and the forest is slowly dissipating. In the normal course of the game, you usually go through the world, and then you go back through the change world. You usually go back through the parts of the game after they're fixed up. Like, we'll see the forest later, with it being overgrown because of the earth crystal.
Yeah, the only place we really don't go back to is fire. We don't care. We're all pyromaniacs. We really don't care.
We don't really go anywhere near Firebird in the speed run. But yes,
except
in the
for
main
100%.
game, yeah,
because that requires everything.
You'll be seeing later. We'll be doing a dupe-in technique that they've been setting up basically the entire first part of the run is to set up 2 dupes to create some key items that we need, as well as basically
an infinite amount of seeds.
Mana. Yeah, infinite amount of mana, which actually ends up being very useful.
Anytime you have an infinite amount of something, as long as it's not debt, is very useful.
Yes. I mean, in some video games, an infinite amount of debt ends up being fine. Final Fantasy IV is a good example. Create infinite amounts of negative items. Gain infinite amounts of money.
Hey, an infinite amount of debt is also good because of, Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that too.
Still gotta pay off that frickin' raccoon. And now they're both in the wintry cave.
Who's the oldest party member in FF?
Which FF? This one?
No, I think it means in all FFs. I mean, there's characters who are... There's probably been a character that's like a couple thousand years old and/or immortal.
Yeah, there has. Oldest I could think of off of base. That one is probably either Strago from 6, Usan from 4, or... Oh no, wait, I know who it is. Aaron from 10.
Orin only lived like 10 extra years. He was only like 40 when he died, and 10 and 50 when he... he would have been 50. He wasn't actually that old. He was super young when he went on the journey.
Didn't know.
No, actually, he was probably only like 30-ish. After in the events of the game.
Then I'd say
he was very young.
Then I'd say it was either of those two, because Strago's supposed to be in his 60s. Telif, dies, but not sure his age, so I'd put it about the same. Then you have the Lunatarian from 4.
Oh, you know what? It's probably... Yeah, you're right. It's probably... Fane doesn't count. I wouldn't count Crystal Life. If you've been set inside of a crystal your entire life and not interacted with the real world or agent, I don't think that counts. Fusoya is, I think, a millennia old or something.
Yeah, I'd have to give it to them.
Age properly. So Fusoya is probably the oldest party member.
Yeah, I guess you could technically count Lightning as well, but she existed outside of time.
Yeah, she literally didn't experience time, so she didn't age.
Yeah. And that's not counting the spin-offs, but even then I wouldn't consider some of them spin-offs.
It's an interesting question, but yeah, I believe it's Fusoya.
Yeah.
Garland's never your party member, Vaughn. How does that work?
Technically he is in Dissidia.
No. So we are almost... Marsh is almost at the next boss, which is a giant enemy crab.
Nah, right? That's the squid.
Oh, shit.
It's Squidward.
I used the joke too early.
Nah, you still have time on that one. I haven't made the present.
But it doesn't work if you use the joke like 12 hours early. I forgot. True, that's in the place.
I haven't used the blooper joke, or the fact of it's essentially the squid from Mario Kart, or the Splatoon joke people have thrown my way during my last few commentary. But yeah, I'm surprised they don't have a darkness stat in this game. It's just blind. Which
Well,
I guess
again, they didn't want to confuse people. It was aimed, again, at newbies. They didn't want complicated, like, terminology.
I guess, but still.
Also, it was called blind for the longest time. It was only changed to darkness in, like, the SNES era, I believe. I believe it's called blind in most of the early installments.
Yeah, I think it was that even in Final Fantasy 1, which that game in
Well,
and
in
of itself is buggy.
one it was definitely dark because they didn't have enough terms. But I believe it's been translated as blind a few times.
Yeah.
Because darkness could mean any number of things.
Yes, it can.
At least this game doesn't have any really weird status effects like some of the other Final Fantasies. One nice thing you're going to notice that he's not reviving Pants on Marshe's side. That's because in this game, you always get revived at the end of the battle with an HP. Game overs aren't super punishing, and on top of that, you
will always gain experience.
You still get your EXP, yes. You still get EXP. We don't need that much in this run, but we do need a very specific amount, or a somewhat specific amount before the end of the game.
Well, and you'll also pick up your 2 GP weeks allowance. That is exactly how much, basically, our main character makes per week. Wow.
To be fair, most of the spells didn't do anything in the original. Fun fact: there's quite a lot of spells that just don't work in the next Final Fantasy. I'm sure that Fiesel could go on a very long discussion on that, but we won't be able to do that.
I remember playing the original Final Fantasy, borrowing it from my cousin, and basically getting upset because every time I would actually make it far, because I had my SNES in my room, our old school NES downstairs in our basement, and I kept having it
interesting. Couch is actually killing each of the birds one by one. He killed each bird one by one instead of doing AoE to kill them in 2 turns. That's an interesting strategy.
It is an actual interesting strat on some things because you can take less damage on that one, which is semi-useful. And I know I'm a fan of doing that later on, especially instead of just single targeting Aro, since most of the later enemies that would give you stat ailments are leaked life. I'll just have, Kaylee or Phoebe 2 just straight up life them or exit them right off the back because, well, I don't want to deal with being petrified. I think we all don't.
Oh, does he actually have a subpar machine as well? Like, is his SNES not working as well, or is it just his PC?
Not sure on that one. I know if my SNES, would turn on, I think it's the power thing on that one. Then again, it's been in storage for about 10 years in my old room on that one before moving out. So it's like, so if it'll work, then hey, yeah. And if I can get the broadcasting stuff, I do that myself. But both of them are doing pretty well. And you'll notice that we're actually doing not in the intended way. They're intended to actually not reuse, each block. Only expected to do it once per. Whereas you'll notice from our runners, they will be reusing a block. Which I guess Square allowed that as an option for more advanced players? What do you think?
Sorry, which?
The block puzzle that Marsh is solving right now.
Oh, you know what? I think it was probably just an oversight. Like they intended you to use. There's other. I can't remember if there's other things you can do in this dungeon.
Not really. You'd have to push the other block around and just hop through it like that. I just think they decided to give you an option.
Yeah, it was most likely intentional.
I mean, I know
or it might just be it might have initially been an accident that they decided to keep. I mean, that's not uncommon in game development where you do that.
Yeah.
You pick up the heal spell, which is going to be somewhat useful, and now we can fight a giant enemy crab. As you can see, Couch is actually in the same dungeon. It's a pretty short dungeon too, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know I still have to at some point want to test to see which of the earlier mobs are actually weak to life. Just because I know, a few of them, you'd be surprised at what is the life.
I'm pretty sure that Almeida went through every enemy when they found the glitch and figured out what died to what. He's a pretty studious guy, so when he does a speed run, he generally, I would say that if there might be some strats that were missed, but I'd say that for battles that you encounter, you're probably using the optimal strategy for each one. One of the more studious speedrunners I know is probably Almeidas. Again, with on top of Fiesel and Gyre, actually two of the other ones I would say are really, really good about making sure that everything about their route is correct.
I know for myself, even though I'm newer to speedrunning, I'm just drawing upon my old experience of I would tinker around with a game until I almost broke it. And by broke it, I mean actually it's like, what the hell did you do to this game? It's not working anymore! It was more to the fact of just, I loved experimenting with games. I loved trying out different crazy things because I got bored. And Marsh getting done the giant crab fight and getting some jumbo bombs because Phoebe just magically carries them around with her. Oddly enough, you can actually skip getting jumbo bombs. It's a little complicated to do, and it's not a good idea, but it is possible. Now you'll see, Moss pick up some refreshers. Do you actually know what those things do? I have no clue.
They reset any stat losses that you got in the current battle.
How do you get stat losses?
I believe there are a few enemies in the late game. And possibly one boss that can. I believe that there's actually, there is a time when you use refreshers.
I have never needed them.
But it's very rare. Then one enemy in particular can lower your attack or something.
And Couch opting to get the skip heal? Or I think that's an oversight.
It could absolutely be that he's decided to leave it behind. Don't believe that it's required for the run, it just helps.
It's not so much that it's not required, it's just that you're relying on your partners to heal you.
Yeah, and I think he's probably just not worried about that in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it's useful, but it depends on that one.
He could also pick it up now, after the fight, too.
Yeah. I know I've toyed around with skipping Meteor, just because of the giant walk back, but that requires, the only drawback is you're just single targeting life and exit most of the time. Well, that and, spamming RO, but hey. Whatever floats your boat, there's different strats for everything. As I have personally shown off in a few races. To the chagrin of commentary at the time. Now, there are enemies here. These are not random encounters.
It's another game for Couch to get sub 2 hours on. Absolutely. You can, in theory, get sub 2.
It's hard. But everybody who's got a sub 2 is happy about it.
Well, yeah, it's you really don't want sub 2 is a grind in this one. This is not the same as Final Fantasy 4 where you can in theory just like grind through.
Yeah. I remember playing 4 as a kid and actually getting to near the final end of the game. It was what, at least the robots were babble around level 22-ish for Cecil? And this was as a kid.
Couch is also like getting trolled hard by the crab boss today. This is not going the way he'd want it to.
Yeah. It's a crab, not a troll. But then again, it's still trolling. One thing I could never understand in this game, ever since I've picked it up as a speedrun, is what the heck is up with the giant ice golem that is before the second giant ice golem? Is that supposed to be a trap or what?
I'm not sure. I do not remember from my
It's
play-in.
the room where you get the knight's sword.
Yeah, I know which room you're talking about. I'm just not sure why it's... what it does, I cannot remember.
I have no clue either. It's like, is it an optional boss? 'Cause it's the same as the regular boss? Does it disappear when talking to it? If you kill it, does the other one not appear and you could go straight up and get the river coin? But I guess in that case, you would still have to fight the mobs normally as Ben? I'm not sure on that one. It's the only time I've seen a boss in this game appear another time.
I mean, there are other times, like, bosses reappear as enemies.
I know,
throughout
but
the
I'm
game.
saying actually, you know, that particular
yeah.
boss apart from the stone golem. I mean, could you imagine walking through the game and coming across a second Pazuzu that is not named Za or Zoo? I think we would all scream if that happened. I don't know about you, but yeah, I would scream on that one.
I wouldn't scream right now because I have a sore throat.
You basically probably clench your fists and just basically shake them, you know, sternly. And try to. Ugh. And you now see those beholders that we all love to hate later in the game. And there's the crabs again.
No more jerk birds, please.
No, if we could skip the jerk birds, we would.
And now they're down.
I mean,
Yeah, for people who don't know, there's actually an item that lets you see. This area doesn't just randomly have random encounters. This area just has invisible enemies unless you have a specific item that we skip. So this isn't an
actually
area
the
with
magic
random
mirror,
encounters.
and I don't skip it, but then again, I don't pick it up either. I just magically get it to appear in my inventory. And oddly enough, it will not reveal the enemies if you actually don't pick it up. It somehow magically appears in your inventory, you still can't see the enemies. But that is still kind of amusing. I thought you'd have to leave the area to actually have it magically appear like that, but yeah.
Well, it's because it probably just... What's actually happening is it probably just causes a trigger that causes the enemies to appear rather than the item actually having an effect.
Yeah,
when you touch the chest, it triggers the enemies appearing.
Yeah, just like how you can actually jump over the scene where you get jumbo bombs.
Yep.
And also, as long as you have the rainbow bridge activated, walking back into the Spencer's Point will trigger the Reuben cutscene. it's kind of amusing because you can get there without.
No, they just want a trick to
triggering.
skip one specific jerk bird. That's all the MQ runners want.
Yeah, we just want to skip for the tower. Hey, I know I've been testing using floor 1, which is the traditional casual strat, just so I could pull from all the years of all the people playing this game casually, to help with research. Because who likes to go fast when you're playing this game casually? I know I want to play this game fast. Yeah, the jerk bird's a jerk. So you saw Mars picking up the noble armor, which we picked that up because that actually contains cold resists, which were in a giant pyramid of ice. It's kind of useful. And Cout's going through, well, the same hallway to approach there. I mean, I have seen some very amusing tricks to this game.
Yeah, the battle music in this game is epic. Like, actually really good.
Yeah.
The whole soundtrack for this game is very good.
Yeah, I mean, I may not
Except
like
for maybe the
Pazuzu's-
tree.
Yeah, I may not like Pazuzu's tower, but his music in the tower is actually pretty good. At least he's got good taste in music. Which I hate to give Bert any credit for something, but his taste in music. That's the saddest thing. They don't show any of this off in Distant Worlds. For any of you that have actually been to that concert, I wish they would actually include One Piece from Mystic Quest and Tactics. I mean, those are the two that they don't add.
Don't they only... Isn't Distant Worlds, like, only the main series?
I'm not sure on that one, because I know they've added some of the stuff from 13. And I know it's supposed to be a celebration of all of it.
No, it's a celebration of the Final Fantasy series, and as far as story is concerned, most of the side games aren't part of the series; they're part of the brand.
Yeah,
right? So,
I know I'm personally, it's just like, they should just as a nod to some of it, but then again, they won't actually do an entire piece for all the different Final Fantasy melodies. Something I would like to hear. And because if you've actually listened to all the different ways that it has been done, it's actually quite interesting.
Well, they have an intro melody that they do that incorporates like the games.
Yeah, they have the prelude, then they have the battle, fanfare, and then they don't really have the piece with the actual, the opening piece from the original game. You know which one I'm talking about? At the bridge.
Yep. Battle on the Big Bridge.
Yeah, I'm not saying Battle on the Big Bridge. I'm referring to the actual from the original game.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they don't have anything for that, and that thing is iconic.
It is very, 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 very difficult to write symphony music. Like, it is the hardest form of music to write for.
I may not know personally,
but yeah. So we are on the ice golem fight. The fight isn't the worst in the run.
It's not the best either, but that I guess is what, the Minotaur boss? Who dies on a Minotaur?
The main strategy here is to really just attack and make sure that you're curing and casting fire. The bombs are, I believe, guaranteed to hit, but deal less damage. But you do need bombs for the overworld as well, so you can't be using too many of them.
The bombs deal about 400 change damage. I think I forget what its other weakness is, but apart from fire. I know I have
I believe,
wanted to.
yeah, I believe the Wayward Devil is correct. I believe it's just like the Pazuzu thing. He's like, haha, you guessed wrong. I'm not me. I believe it's the same deal.
Yeah.
I believe he is correct. I believe he just talks to you, and it doesn't change anything about the dungeon. He just runs away. So less trolly, but still then.
Yeah,
so now Marsh is still ahead.
But not by much.
I'm not actually sure on what these two guys' PBs are. And kind of like so I don't really know if they're both on a good pace for themselves or not. Coach stopped for a second, but I'm not sure what that was. If that was like
I know I've been paying attention to his timer here and there. He hasn't. His splits have gone a little over, but that's for the game.
Yeah.
Mars, I know. He did at least race PB during his first race because I was on commentary for that one. And that was around, what, a 115? Sorry, not 115. Around 215-ish, if I recall. Cyclone ought to remember that one. And Mars probably hates that one. Because the bird said nope twice. So now you'll see us enter the only battlefield we ever do, the exit battlefield.
Yep. It's called that because it does give us the spell exit. Too bad it doesn't come earlier.
Yeah.
Most of the battlefields have like minor or like major rewards. There's another spell that it would be nice to have. Life, I believe it is in a dungeon or in a battlefield that we skip. I cannot remember if it's in a battlefield.
In the volcano, if I recall.
That's right. It's unfortunately in the volcano. We can't get there, so.
Yeah. I mean, if I could figure out a way, or any of us could figure out a way to get up to the exit battlefield early, I think we would.
Well, I mean, the world map there, it's basically a menu, so there's not really a way to cheat while on it. You would literally need to warp or something past, like, and then trigger something so that you have access to the world map. The world map is essentially a menu.
And there's one Sphinx so far from Mars. Let's get some actual Sphinx guesses in chat for Mars and Couch.
Oh yeah, so it's basically, I believe it's close to 50-50. He either gets one squid or he gets some griffins.
I know. I just hope he doesn't have the luck that got. I forget who it was. I know someone got 11 squids or 11 sphinxes.
This isn't like Blue Balls in Link to the Past or something. This, I believe, can just technically go on forever. It would be highly unlikely, but I believe you could just technically get the same battle over and over again, like Marsh's Dan with the squids. He's actually has pretty good luck here. I've
only seen one Sphinx so far.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, I got one so far, and it was on his first. But then again, I have seen worse. Oh, that makes 2. I know I was having an interesting discussion with Couch, before the race, discussing, strategies on that one. Which was kind of, so I know I've been a little secretive on some of my things, just, trying out different stuff, but since I'm still learning, it's hard to actually say, hey, here's an idea to possibly try out, and get people to listen. And Mars, that's 3. So let's start seeing 4. Oh god. Is that 6 now? God, did I give Marsh commentary curse?
Well, is he only on about round? Oh, it's 2 of 10, so he's got 2 left to do.
Yay.
It's not too bad. So now he's got 1 left to do.
Yay,
And
he
he's
only
done.
got 6.
It's not too bad.
It's better than the last time I saw someone get 11.
And I don't know if he's running his own splits or if just a timer, but he's still green, so that's good.
Yeah, I know I'll just usually do, I usually won't use splits unless I'm trying to show averages or something like that. Now, the interesting
only
thing
5. Thank you
is
very
you
much,
cannot
Jen.
fail this block puzzle. The game won't let you fail it.
I always like it when games don't let you fail block puzzles. I hate block puzzles.
Hey, it's better than some of the other games where they've literally just solved it by having the character die on a switch.
Yeah, that's a. I mean, just let me sometimes when I encounter a game where the block puzzle is not only failable, but I can leave the room and come back and the block puzzle still failed. Those are frustrating.
Yep. Now
So
let's.
we are now climbing up to. I believe we are going to Firebird now.
Yep. We
are going to spend some time there and then skip all of it. So we'll be skipping the entirety of the Firebird sequence via a duplication glitch that I'm not very good at explaining, so I hope you are.
I am. Essentially what we are doing is the game lets you buy 0 of an item. It will give you 0 of an item in the inventory. Using that item will underflow the game's memory and give you 255 of that. We tend to use that on seeds, because seeds heal are magic. What you see Mars do is buy 0 seeds, use it, he now has 255 seeds, and his item next to it is now the Sun Coin, which is a key item. We're not supposed to have a key item in our consumable item slot. So doing that allows us to now buy cures and rewrite the game's inventory. We choose 19 because 19 essentially gives us the Sun Coin and the Sky Coin and the Mobius Crest. We use the Mobius Crest later on, and those 2 coins basically allow us to not pick up any more coins for the rest of the game. I hope that was a good enough explanation.
Yeah, that worked for me, and that's pretty much the entirety of the speedrun.
A few other minor things, but Marsh is about to drop a sandwich.
Yeah, somebody earlier mentioned that, is this another game that you could get sub 2 in? It is, but just in a low 2-0, like a 2-0-4-3-2, is pretty much the equivalent of a sub 2 in no 64.
Those that are sub 2, it's hard. It's hard. Until we can find a tower skip, which I guess is probably the holy grail for this game. I heard Wind Waker finally found their holy grail a little while back. So maybe we can find something like that for us.
Their holy grail was more of a curse, but...
Well, it killed a category!
Yeah, it did. Killed one and created 2 new ones, I think?
I heard all dungeons, but I'm not sure about the others.
I believe that there isn't any % no, or at least people are considering doing it like the old route as a separate category.
I think that's all
barrier
dungeons.
skip is stupid.
I think it
is basically all dungeons, but barrier skip is used in all dungeons to get some items early.
Namely, the fully charged Master Sword, from what I heard.
Yes, and I believe not Silver Arrows. You beat Phantom Ganon and then leave, basically.
Yeah. There's a
Very
YouTube
useful.
video up explaining it.
But for this game, we are in... So earlier I mentioned that we get Tristan for a short amount of time. This is that short amount of time. We really don't have him for very long, so...
And he also still sucks.
Yeah. But I don't even think we fight a boss with him. Do we?
No, we do not.
Yeah, we just kind of move along and we find Kaylee. He does, though, kindly give us the
item we stole from us at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the Drayden's Claw, which is a significantly better weapon that we will actually be equipping. Never really attacking with it. Oh my goodness, what is happening to Couch's screen?
Is it the
alarm
TV that he needs to bang on?
Well, it would be the capture card, not his TV. It most likely be a loose connection in the capture card.
Yeah, this is why I just use an emulator, because I haven't wanted to pony up the money to do that yet.
Alright, capture cards aren't that expensive. It could be in any number of things when you're dealing with old console capturing.
Yeah, this is why I just prefer the old school. You know, when I was younger, okay, plug in VCR, plug in VCR cassette, press record, turn on to my actual old school game system, and play. There you go.
Right. That's still valid for speedruns.
Yeah, it's just sending them in is a little hard now. Where do you actually send it to? They never give you a mailing address now.
I mean, you could still submit to SDA like that, in theory.
You can.
I believe they still have an email address and would still put it on the website. You can send it to GDQ. I believe that's how one of the Super Metroid runners, Behemoth, submitted his first time. He literally sent them VCR tapes because that was the only way that he could record his runs. So.
I'll have to do that sometime. Then again, living in Maryland, I probably could at some point just go to AGDQ if I actually had the inclination to.
But right now we are doing a fairly long dungeon with absolutely no fights on Marshe's side. It is just a story dungeon.
It's not even a dungeon. It's just literally an overworld location. We just don't get much stuff there.
And we need to hit a few trigger points so that we don't soft lock the game by accident by bringing characters where they aren't supposed to be.
You can do it. I've done it. It was amusing. And I've done it in testing. And now you'll see Phoebe. The reason why Phoebe should never use explosives. Because Spencer is her grandfather. He's been digging a tunnel to some guy named Mac. And, well, Mac happens to be Kaylee's dad. So, well, Phoebe apparently just destroyed the entire tunnel her grandfather was making. After Tristram basically told them, hey, come on, let's go look for some treasure. Now you see Couch doing his underflow. You gotta enjoy your runs in this game. I remember growing up using this kind of stuff. Also doing that with old TV series and just recording it onto cassette. And by that, I actually mean tape because I had a very good imagination. And a Viewmaster of some of the episodes.
So, one odd thing about the game that we're about to encounter is actually that we will be one of the things that happens in this game is that as you do areas, the world map has like this cloud stopping you from going to the other areas. We just end up walking through it from now on because we never hit the trigger for it.
To reveal it. And now you'll get at least some little teaser of the final dungeon's music called Doom Castle. I don't know about you, but I have heard of players coming up with some of the weirdest names for their splits during this area. He said he was going to show that one off strat-wise. I gave him a better one, but yeah. Now it's opting for the Venus Shield.
Doom Castle is fantastic.
And Couch actually opting for the Venus Shield, trying to prove me wrong on that one, even though I gave him a minute plus time save.
I mean, you say that, but I mean, I understand skepticism. You usually want to test things before you do them.
I know.
Especially in a single
I
elimination
know.
tournament.
It's the whole fact of the test for it's just like I've been testing it for the past few races. In fact, that's how I got my PB. And I obviously came in last, but when you're shaving like what, 15 minutes off of a PB, I'd still take it.
But yeah, there's actually a lot of equipment that we don't pick up in this game, and Medius is referring to one of those, which is the Venus Shield. But there is like a bunch of equipment that we see. There's like an Aegis Shield. There's a helm that we skip.
You'll still see people pick up the Aegis Shield.
Yeah. So,
in fact, I know Mars is probably going to be picking it up. It cost him his first race. The main difference was Cyclone picked it up and he didn't.
I mean, I think Marsh might be a... Marsh is usually a pretty cool-headed speedrunner, so I don't know if he'll let something like that, like, tilt him, generally.
It will tilt him. He's openly gone on record, basically, to state that he probably is going to be picking that up for the rest of the tournament.
No, it was the opposite of that, actually. He picked it up and lost.
No. No,
so
Cyclone
he will not be picking up the Aegis Shield.
Nah, Marsh won that one, if I recall correctly.
Oh, okay.
Cyclone was the one that picked it up and won.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Marsh didn't. I was on commentary for that one, so... Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Marsh usually does his own thing, from what I remember.
Yeah.
He always hits the Aegis. Well, good to know. I know it is a bit of a time loss.
It's about a minute time loss, but it does even out the end of the game stuff.
Yep. It prevents a lot. I mean, if you've ever played a Final Fantasy game, you probably know of an Aegis Shield of some kind. Couch is currently going through the Lawn story dungeon, quote unquote.
Yeah,
but Marsh is going through, in my opinion, the worst dungeon in the game. The music isn't that great. The area itself is kind of boring. It's very drab, and the rooms are very samey. So my least favorite.
And I know Couch is just having fun on that one, but I can understand that one, just wanting to have fun on the game. I mean, heck, who here hasn't just wanted to straight up okay, I'm just gonna have some fun with this run because I know I'm probably not winning. I think Couch has got a shot. At least remember to exit.
There's a lot of cool grappling hookness in this dungeon as well, which is
I just call it the claw shot because they did take inspiration from Zelda on some of this.
Well, yeah, it's a grappling hook. It's like a grappling hook from Link to the Past, basically. I guess that's the hook shot, but
yeah, and this is a claw, so that's why I'm referring to that one. But still.
I'm always a big fan of these claw weapons, or like these grappling hooks in games.
Yeah. And Kaylee getting Doom Danced. Oh no, did we lose Marsh? Sorry, not Marsh. Did we lose Couch?
It looks like his game capture is paused, but not his timer. Well, we'll see what happens. Oh, his timer restarted?
No, according to this, he says he forfeited.
Uh-oh.
According to this SRL. It says, perfect, good luck in the tourney. I have stuff going on at home.
Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I guess we could still keep it going, you know, Mars on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate that the race is over. Coach, I hope that whatever's going on, you're able to deal with. I totally know what real life issue. I mean, real life issues are why I didn't enter into this tournament. I just couldn't find the time or energy to devote to another speed game. So
I had some time for it, you know, for fun. This before, you know, well, working on some stuff for Zelda, and then, you know, waiting for, you know, the open mode Link to the Past tournament on that one.
There we go. Sorry, my mouse got stuck under my chair. Time cannot matter for a tie break because we are in single eliminations. So
yeah. Let's cheer Mars on and see if you might actually be able to hit a sub 2 for us. Come on, Mars, we believe in you.
That's fine. You don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
About the tournament. Don't worry, Wayward, and Coach. Definitely take care of your kid.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll feel better. And hopefully when they get old enough, you'll make them play this game as well. Begs a good question. What was your first RPG?
Final Fantasy 1 for the NES.
Mine was 6.
And I was 5.
Yeah, for me it was 6 and probably like 7 or 8. Then 4, then 1, then I found this game, played it, had some fun with it because I was still young. But yeah, mine's 6 and it still belongs like my top 3 games of all time.
But we will keep going with this. Yeah, and as you can see underneath, Coach did unfortunately have to forfeit.
Yeah. Which is always sad. Yeah. Let's see if Mars can actually maybe get a sub 2. Or at least improve on his PB. Let's go cheer him on.
I don't know exactly what he'd need for sub 2. I don't know if he's on pace for that. But sub 2 in a tournament would be pretty miraculous.
Well, from what I heard, that's how the current world record was set. It was in a race.
Right, I'm just saying, like, it would be, like, I mean, that world record was considered pretty miraculous. So.
Yeah, but it's not impossible. I'm a firm believer in what I like to call the 0.1%.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that sub 2 is not really on the radar for this run. I think you have to basically have no mistakes and use no backups and skip some things, and like there's a lot of ands involved in a sub 2.
Perfect floor 6, no jerk birds, like getting them on the first fight, getting your partner to crit a few times, not having a dumb partner AI during this point, and yeah, you've got it, or at least close to a sub 2. That's basically from what I recall.
I haven't watched the world record in a while. I mean, I think I was watching the race that it happened in, but I didn't actually end up finish watching that race. So I used to just watch Almeidas pretty regularly.
Yeah. I've watched here and there on some things like that, but I'm the type of, runner that's just like, I'll run to improve my own skills. Now, what's really interesting here is that all of these toads can be lifed. It's still amusing. I don't know, I'm a fan of late game just, testing everything I can for fun.
But on top of that, we're at the point where we can use exit on enemies, which, just like in Final Fantasy 2, does warp them out of the battle.
Yeah. You don't get experience. Again, it's also like Banish and FF6, aka X-Zone. It's still
not getting
that
experience, though, is actually helpful, because, again, we don't want too much experience.
We don't want to be level 24. 23 requires a few different strats. 22 and 21 were good.
Yep.
He's claiming he's behind the whole time so far. Us, we believe in you. We do. It just all depends on some stupid stuff within this game. By the way, huge shoutouts to Fiesel for actually giving us an audio feed this time.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Fiesel for pretty much everything he does on this and the other speed gaming channels. So.
Yeah. So I know I've done some commentary for some of the earlier things, and just always wonder, it's like, okay, we don't know who you're listening to or where, that kind of stuff. It's just questionable things. Comes to certain things. I wouldn't say this is easier to get a 777 on slots than it is to get a sub 2 in Mystic Quest.
Oh no, it's definitely easier. They give you 777s, like, sometimes.
Yes, I know that. Sub 2s are possible as well. But I was talking about the 777 Joker Doom.
Oh, that's that you can manipulate. That's very easy.
Yes.
That's not even hard to do casually to manipulate that. It's just pause buffering.
Yeah.
So.
You can do that.
I was going to say, Joker Doom and slots in FF7 are very easy.
Yes, they are.
It's doing it. It's pure manipulation, actually.
Yeah.
If you could manipulate Master Quest all the way through, that would be pretty sick. This game would also be much faster.
Yeah. With Mystic Quest, I know I've tried a little bit of it, but then again, I'm no expert. But that's what trial and error is for.
Oh, whoops, Master Quest. My bad.
It's okay.
Quest. It always throws me. I do that actually somewhat often.
It's okay. We all feel that way sometimes. Hey, it's better than being a Pokemon Master Quest.
Yeah, I just do that because my experience with Ocarina of Time was Master Quest. So
yeah.
Every time I see an MQ game, it is.
Let's put it this way. I've beaten the Master Quest for Ocarina of Time 100%. Took me a while, and I eventually had to look up a guide strategy for two things: where the hell the torches were in the Fire Temple, because they literally placed them, in every corner where you couldn't see them, and how the hell to duck to get through the Deku Tree. But that was a fun one. But then again, these
Slime's
giants
giving Marsh a bit of trouble. Oh.
Yeah, but at least they're not as bad as these slimes in Dragon Quest.
It's just hard finding them. most of the time, the slimes aren't a big issue, unless they decide to throw some kind of slime boss at you. Usually in a side game.
Yeah. Then again, I still need to finish Dragon Quest VII. And I even have the original PS1 version of that game. It's literally the only game I've sunk, except for an MMO, over 100 hours into. Unless you count Theater Rhythm. But then again, that's a rhythm game. And that's purely for fun. But you'll see us, this tree literally asks us to help clear out stuff inside of him. So I guess Master Quest doesn't really, basically is appropriate here, because they're in the Deku tree. I mean, wouldn't you call a giant talking tree the Deku tree? That's what comes to mind for me.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, giant talking trees are more of a Tolkien-esque thing.
Yes, but they're not Ents because this tree can't move.
Yeah, but I mean, Ents don't generally move either. They generally don't want to move.
Yeah,
it's actually a very big deal when they do move. That's the whole point.
I guess you're right on that one. Guess you're all right.
So.
Then again,
also the tree definitely does move.
Oh yeah, you are right. It does eventually.
It absolutely moves once we remove the boss to the top of it. So I was very confused. It's like I don't want to say it because I'm only like 75% sure, but I'm pretty sure it moves.
It does. It does, because you still go to the Alive Forest and see where it used to be. So I guess, yes, it is an Ent. Over the Deku tree, which does not move. Hmm. Yeah, outs. We all hope your kid is doing well. But now you see these skeletons with swords and shields, these yellow skeletons, which, oddly enough, if Marsh did not have Kaylee on manual, she would be curing them for little damage. Very little damage.
Yeah, these guys are not don't take care that much, so that is one thing that we, I think, failed to mention earlier. There's manual and auto, and the AI has very specific programming for what it wants to do. So we set it to auto when that programming is beneficial, and we set back to manual when we need to do other things. So
yeah, I mean, on top of that, the AI is actually pretty good in this game. Just not consistent.
Yeah.
Good.
It made some good decisions because this game isn't that this game doesn't have that many decision trees, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Couch, we all hope your kid feels better. We all do. From all of us in the tournament and everybody in chat, we all hope your kid feels better. And Marsh deciding to heal Pants.
The nice thing about life in this game is that it
gives you a full heal.
It gives you full heal and revives, and if you're alive, it removes all status effects you have.
It's essentially an elixir.
That's why sometimes people will ignore the heal, because you basically have a heal whenever you have life. Coach's child is sick and he needs to take care of him. Sorry.
The only reason why we actually even just pick up heal is just because we never pick up life, and if our partner dies, we're basically screwed. Unless we're on the last few hits of a boss and you want to go YOLO. Or basically in poker, go all in and try not to die. But Mars has got this. Mars has got this Chimera. Which, oddly enough, the Chimeras are one of the few enemies that you cannot use life to kill. I mean, you can even use life on the frickin' floating wizard dudes in the tower. And those really aren't undead.
He just happens to be programmed correctly. And now that the Chimera is dead, all the enemies in the giant tree disappear.
And let's get a Goon Kid in chat. As if you notice in the background, it says Goon Kid. Now, as we all know, it's supposed to say go on, kid, but spacing! Goon Kid! And now you'll see Mars going to pick up the spell for the dungeon, Meteor. Which we skip because literally going to collect that before we kill the boss means we'll have to fight a lot more enemies. And it's also out of our way, because we have to cut down these shrooms. So would you say that's cutting it down, or more like whacking them? To me, it always looks like it's a game of...
You're definitely cutting them down. That motion is very slice.
I know, but if you look at the bottom, it's like you still see the head of them, you know, from there.
You see the stump.
Yeah, but you wouldn't see the stop, you know, the top of the stump. You would see the stump only.
No, you definitely see the stump there. I mean, it is top down, so it's definitely somewhat weird, but it definitely looks like you're chopping the top of the tree off. Now, why you can't just squeeze through them is the better question, but it must be very thick forest.
Yeah. Now, you also see Mars picking up the Cupid's Locket. We picked that up because, well, it's useful. Now you'll see him go back to Fireburg to pick up the Mega Grenades. What's so special about a Mega Grenade and how do you use it? Well, as Ben learns when he asks about it, you just throw it at him. I always found that amusing. Because how do you use a Mega Grenade? This person that's supposed to be the only person to do it. It's like, here, Ben, it's like, can you teach me? Sure, what did I do? Just throw it at him. Though it's not the holy hand grenade of Antioch, yeah, I guess it'll do a good enough job. Now you'll get to hear some of the best music in the game. I personally like this track. I don't know about you. This dungeon here, which is called Mount Gales, is one of the easiest we have to deal with, just because single target arrow, meteor, and we're good. And just try not to die.
For this part of the game, as it turns out.
Yeah. But yeah, this dungeon isn't that bad compared to some of the others that we have to go through. Let me ask you, what would you name your splits for this area?
Just yell. Usually they're the dungeon of the boss. I'm not one of those guys who likes to name all of his splits.
For me, I hardly ever use splits, or I'll just do the general area. Then again, I have thought of a few amusing names for, like, you know, some things, but just, personal preference, I guess, for those things. the one thing I could never get is why is Meteor not as strong as Flare in this game? I thought Meteor was usually, the top spell, at least when it came to 4.
I mean, Meteor is the top spell in a few of the games, but sometimes it's just just an upgraded Comet. It's not usually. It's just a time magic spell. Flare is almost always the ultimate black magic. Outside of like 4 and 7, Meteor is usually RNG damage, and Flare is the actual this is the ultimate spell.
I guess
it takes years to master. Blah 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 blah. It kind of changed a bit once Final Fantasy 7 came out because that ended up being so popular. It changed a lot of the things that we knew about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, like you had the version back to the actual. Well, no, that came in 8. Reversion back to the original names. And the whole Ares, Aerith debate.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, if you ever look it up on YouTube, there is a great actual parody of the entire first quarter of the game for 7 on there, done by Team 4-Star. If you're familiar with their work, it is amusing as anything. Yeah, DBZ Abridged is hysterical.
And here we go. Here's the Headless Horseman, Dullahan.
Yeah, but I always found it amusing. He's missing his he's carrying
Fatal
his head.
Trail.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing. This is basically one of the first, other than the battlefield, one of the worst RNG moments in the game. If he does that to Kaylee, the run is you just have to give up. You just sit there, you hope.
Yeah, I mean you got some fun things with it. It's possible. It's just really hard. I know I'm just a fan of lifing and exiting the bats because they'll one-shot them, and Kaylee always goes first still here. And Mars attempting the heal strats, hoping to paralyze him.
Poke, poke.
Yeah. I always find it funny. You could use heal on an enemy. You could use all your weight magic spells on an enemy, but you can't use any items on them.
Well, again, it's I guess trying to be like the easier game, but there are any little things here and there for veterans, like the fact that as of this NES, you were actually, as of Final Fantasy 3, you're able to cast white beneficial spells on your enemies for undead. So
yeah, that is true, I guess. I think it was by either FF2 or original FF2 or original FF3. I forget which. It's been ages since I've beaten them.
I know you can in 3 because that's part of the manipulation.
Original 3 or 6?
The original 3. For the NES, a lot of the manipulation revolves around potions.
Last time I played it was on the DS remake, and years before, back when emulation was still popular, beating it emulated on the NES.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of save states for that one.
Dullahan, obviously, as long as he doesn't just one-shot Kaylee, the fight is fairly smooth. And now it is down, and we can now officially move on to
the Jerkbird.
The Jerkbird himself, the real Jerkbird, the true Jerkbird, Pazuzu.
The one, the only Pazuzu. which is sad because the reason why Auto can't, well, first of all, Sid can't get us, out there is because, the wind's too strong. I mean, this game doesn't even have a Sid. Which I find very sad. I mean, he's a staple. They even have chocoboos in this game.
Yeah, Sid was a staple by the second game. Or by the third game, I think? Yeah. So, it is somewhat odd that there's no Sid in this game, but Sid wasn't in every side game either. He's in a lot of them, like Final Fantasy Tactics, but I don't think he was in Adventure. I don't think they made a Sid character in Adventure. Or
Adventure was the first Soken Dusetsu game.
Right, but it was a Final Fantasy. In America, it was Final Fantasy Adventures. So
I know.
They could have very easily just translated one character to Sid if they wanted to.
I'm not sure on that one.
Same with the Saga translations. I don't believe that any of the Sagas have a Sid in it. So it's not unprecedented for a side game to not have Sid in it.
A lot of the side games do. It's just rarer.
Now, for this dungeon, why this dungeon's a jerk is that the boss moves between the floors. He has an elevator, and he uses it to go between the floors. What this causes is a lot of problems.
He's technically on the first, the third, the fifth, and the seventh floor all at the same time.
And we have to hit locks and such once we talk to him the first time to basically, depending on where he goes the first time, we do a specific sequence of triggers and such. And the RNG in this section can vary, I believe, anywhere from I think it's like 2 minutes and 15 minutes for the best or worst variations.
As Elmegus puts it, when you get to floor 6, Pog champs. When you get to floor 2, you have my permission. It even says it in his speedrun guide for this game. You have my permission to stop and literally baby rage for a minute.
I mean, you may as well baby rage on the very, very, very long sequence of events that's about to occur to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm a fan of testing floor 1 just because if you don't get a 6, you still have the slight possibility of a floor 3, and you can reset. Which is always nice on that one. But then again, you win some, you lose some there. And Marsh opting for the sword strats, as we forgot to mention earlier, your weapons do give you a bit of an extra stat boost. Swords give you +5 speed, claws give you +5 magic. That's just by equipping them. And, well, axes I think don't do anything, neither do bombs. And now you'll see us in the Beholder Hall.
Coach's daughter is sick, so he had to focus on taking care of her.
Yeah. Which is, I think, more important than a game. But yeah, we're in the Hall of the Beholder. I guess, would it be the Eye of the Beholder? I guess the beauty of this game is in the Eye of the Beholder?
Well, it was a forfeit because Couch forfeited.
Yeah. I guess technically it could be rescheduled if both runners wanted to, but
Couch is it would then be put under Marsh, and Couch is the kind of guy who would not put that decision. It was Couch who forfeited. Nobody forced him to forfeit.
Yeah.
I'd like to make that clear. Nobody forced him to forfeit, and Couch wouldn't want to put Marsh in the position to say yes or no, because
Yeah,
that is a
and
tough
I
position.
agree with him on that one. You know, it's the gentlemanly thing to do.
I mean, he's absolutely in his right to ask, but it shows his character.
Yes,
Couch is
does.
a very nice guy if you've ever seen him in chats and such.
Yeah, and we all, respect him for it. Oh. Well, monsters entered the Hellway. As has been stated before, there's a lot of Hellways in games. These Sphinxes can basically kill us. However, they are weak to life. And exit. So we'll be exiting them and lifing them away.
What, isn't we Ted's in this game bosses? I would say that let's not discuss the reasons why or what with the forfeit. Just know that his daughter is sick, and that's it.
Yeah.
Marsh is going to play to the finish.
Which is the appropriate thing to do, I guess.
Yeah.
I know I'm a fan of trying to finish off stuff if I can, unless I'm basically going to collapse on the keyboard and just, you know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
Or something else very important comes up. But
Marsh is obviously going to play each encounter safe now. He's just going to basically aim to finish the run.
yeah. Which is always, the smart thing to do. I know in these cases, if I know I'm this far behind, or just, having fun, this is when I'll just, okay, I'm just gonna start experimenting. This is just generally some of the stuff that I will do myself, but I don't know about the rest of you,
I think Marsh would just play like he would, as if, as if he was ahead. Obviously sometimes you make different decisions if you're ahead in games where you're allowed to screen watch, this is one of them.
Yeah, it's not the randomizer. Even though apparently there is a randomizer to this game, and I've heard it's hard as anything. I mean, I've seen, some of the things for the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, which I do want to check that out sometime.
I play it. There is a tournament for that coming up as well. I can't remember when it's being decided it's happening, but it's pretty fun randomizing. It's definitely a bit harder than it first looks.
I mean, I liked 1, I still have to learn all the stuff from 1, just because I used to play that casually, but Then again, I've still got to learn a lot of RPGs, to speedrun them. But, that's me on that one. But we'll soon know whether or not Marsh got Baby Rage or Pog Champs. And now you'll see the Cupid's Locket paying dividends since we can't get silenced now, which is very useful since we use magic a lot in this game.
Have we caught what floor he is on yet?
No, he's Moss is on floor 7 right now, so we won't see what floor the Jerkbird's on until we see him, because we go around the switch first, to skip one battle. I know I'm personally a fan of just checking sometimes if I feel like it.
Yeah, it's true. Silence works about as well as darkness does in Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah. I did not realize silence did not work in this game at all. Yeah, we're all rooting for floor 6. Never realized that one. I mean, there are some parts in this game which are programmed horribly, and then there's others that are just like, wow, you programmed this properly, but not this? For example...
Oh, interesting about
you
the...
can't wall clip. But it's like, okay, we can't wall clip, but we can kill enemies with cure and life that are not undead. I mean, I find this game to be, quite amusing when you, sit down to actually play it for a few times. Come on, floor 6. Anything but 2. But I know we're all rooting for floor 2. Sorry, not floor 2, floor 6. Sorry, Mars. I meant floor 6.
For the hope of the speed run, I hope that it's a decent floor.
The best floor is floor 6. The second best is floor 1. Just because we get to save time. And encounters. I know I'm a fan of hoping for floor 6. I know I've been trying to crack, at least some form of a frame window, just to give myself an idea, maybe manipulating frames, or at least catching a window for somehow figuring out the floor. I know what I have realized is when Pazuzu leaves a floor, he's really not supposed to go to the odd floors. He can, but it's a lesser chance. Nope. Not a floor 6. Will we see the floor 5?
Please, Pazuzu, be kind.
God, I hope it's not a floor 2. Even I hate floor 2s.
You aren't allowed to baby your age until after.
You're not allowed to baby rage until after you find out it's a floor 2.
Yep. Also, I swear that my voice doesn't normally sound like this.
Yeah. We all just have those off days. And also when you're little horse, it's like that. Life killing the Dullahan. A very good strat. Not a floor 5. Will it be a floor 4? I'd say a floor 3, but he talked to him on floor 3. I'm a personal fan of actually... That's one of the other reasons why I like floor 1. If he's on floor 3, I straight up just know, okay, he's on 3, I could skip 6. Let's just start coming up with names for the Jerkbird. You got any cool nicknames you could think of for him?
For who?
Pazuzu.
Oh no, I mean he's Jerkbird, Pazuzu, and Zuzu's decent, but that's more reserved for Zoo himself.
I usually just call Zuzu Zazu because he just reminds me of the frickin' Pokemon. Well, that and basically because of all the arguing about is it Za or is it Zoo?
Come on, Jerkbird, show yourself.
Well, he's got a coin flip now. God, where did I put my giant 20-sided die? I'd roll it and hope for an odds or an evens for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Zai is either.
As I said, that's this way I call him Zazu. It makes me long to find a Pokeball so I could just throw it at him. It'd skip the entire fight. I know at some point I just want to see how strong Ben gets at the very end. You know, with just using his frickin' fists. Not having the bomb equipped, not having, the mega grenades, and just see how strong he gets at the end. I don't think he'll do much damage, but I would just love to see if he just ends up being like the monk from FF1, where he can one-shot Chaos. That would be amazing. Just sort of, hello, Za. Goodbye, Za. Hit him with one hit and he dies. That would be ridiculous. True. I know a 20-sided die is different from a coin flip, but I was going odds or evens. Which is essentially a coin flip. Well, essentially it is a coin flip in that regard, except that a coin flip you still have the chance of it landing on its side. And then the better question is whether or not it's left or right facing.
More Dullahan. Oh wait, no Thanatos.
Dullahan, the Beholders, and the Sphinxes. All these enemies, except for the Beholders, you can one-shot. I just wish I could figure out a way to actually increase your accuracy in this game so you can straight up just never miss with life or exit.
I am sure eventually your levels would be high enough, but this game kind of has almost a soft level cap in that there's not like that much that you'd fight. There's no real reason to grind past the battlefields. I think the levels get pretty hard to level up later on.
Actually, there is a hard cap to the game. It's 41.
Well, I know, obviously, there's obviously a hard cap. Every game would have to have a hard cap.
I guess works. Except for a Disgaea game, because you can keep resetting that. That goes to 9,199.
Disgaea even has a hard cap. Yes, you can reset back to level 1, but there are hard caps on things in Disgaea. Otherwise, the game would just explode eventually because the values would overflow.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of programming.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast on that one.
I shut down. Now Marsh is heading back up. There's a lot you have to do to basically prevent Pazuzu from
Running around.
You can hit switches to basically keep him on floors.
Yeah, essentially you're cutting the power from the elevator. For him, not for us.
Yeah. Well, we use the stairs. We're not lazy.
Yeah.
We walked all this way so we can take the stairs.
Yeah. And the jerk bird taking a page out of our book and teleporting everywhere.
And then obviously, once we do actually get to Pazuzu himself, there's a lot of RNG in his fight, just like the just like the last boss fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's Pazuzu. He's annoying as anything. He'll fly around. Oddly enough, he is weak to arrows because of being a bird. Which is really kind of amusing if you ever see Phoebe during the zoo fight actually straight up just crit on that one. It doesn't as much damage as White, aka Holy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you got a floor 1.
That
Congrats.
is very good. So
And I'm a fan of just taking the Beholder fight there when I'm going through, if I'm using floor 1, just because, honestly, I've been testing, basically figure out the frame when they're using the music, and it does tend to actually, balance out a bit better, but that's me. Even if it's not the most optional.
we are doing a full res on, or full heal with full MP heal before we go into this fight.
Yeah. This boss is annoying.
So we casted. So we basically want to hope that he does not cast, I believe it is Doom Wind. I can't remember the specific. Oh, that one you can survive. What is that? That attack you can survive, but you cannot survive the other wind attack. All right, we'll just one-shot whoever it hits. Yep, that was definitely. I'm guessing Medius is gone.
I'm here. I'm here. Sorry. Messenger on the phone, which I had to mute for.
This is being tested in the emergency broadcasting system. Oh man, I remember those.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Could you imagine if Twitch streams were interrupted like that? Luckily, nothing's gone horrendously wrong in this fight.
Yeah.
Even Benjamin hasn't really taken. Like, he had that first death, but since then it's been pretty clean.
I know. I'm a fan of just trying to see if I can get him out of his sight shield as soon as possible. I've even tried just casting life or something on him just to see about him. Because he won't do anything if it's a, white spell, except for Cure, in which case you cure Pazuzu, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, as long as Pazuzu does not cast the the yellow wind on Kaylee, everything is basically fine. And you can end this game generally know how far along in the battle you are, because eventually they usually drop. Like Pazuzu likes to kind of chill on the ground when he's almost dying. Other bosses do other different things, like Dullahan's horse dies and you have to charge at him.
And he also starts grabbing his head. Which I'm surprised he doesn't throw his head at you.
But yeah, Sight Shield is, as the chatter said, it is it's not, you can't just like make it go away faster. It's X amount of turns, and you just have to pray that you didn't have a spell queued up that's gonna nuke you back.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you just have to know how many turns it takes and wait. Hope he doesn't just continuously use it. But that was very clean first try. Apparently Marsh is 12 minutes behind. And his luck hasn't been perfect this run.
well, if he gets excellent luck, he could still PB. Probably not by much, but maybe by a minute at least. Mars, is that on the positive side of 12 or the negative side of 12?
What? No, 12 minutes behind.
He said almost 12 minutes behind.
Right. So, but I mean, he's 12 minutes. How is he? Where is he now? At 12 minutes to PB.
I guess if he has insane zoo fights and insane ship fights, you know, basically getting perfect patterns along the way, I guess he could make it up. But I'm an optimist, so, you know, being an optimist and all. And also, you could somehow just miraculously find a wrong warp or some straight to the final boss. I mean, as I said, I'm an optimist.
I don't know.
Realized
he's past the major point in the major RNG point in the run, so I'm gonna be a bit real and
hey, you never know. I have seen some crazy stuff that has been recorded, you know, live on stream. In fact, there's quite a few YouTube videos of people just showing random stuff discovered in stream, you know, while streaming a run. Those were amusing to watch. Especially like some of the things that have cost players runs when they discover something effed up. And hey, I'm not saying what I would do. I'm saying what is the whole fact of being an optimist.
and we are heading through. This is Ruben is what the character that would have been the character in the the Firebird sequence, but because we just completely blow past that, we get Ruben here for a very, very short period of time before the final dungeon, where we get our final party member. He also really sucks. Just like Tristram, they are both pretty mediocre. So it's nice that they are not
here for long.
Yeah, they're not here for very long. His flail, I think, it looked. Yeah, it's a more well. His Morning Star, as all Morning Stars in Final Fantasies, are not very good.
Technically,
at least not in the late game. There are some games where the Morning Stars are okay.
So I interjected about stuff like that.
Oh, and here.
Ah, good.
Oh,
most of the streamer's back.
Is that Marshe's stream is dead or no? Okay, yeah. There we go.
It's back.
Yep. I thought it was my end to the commentary stream.
Don't think so.
The ghost ship does look pretty cool, in my opinion.
It does.
It's a pretty cool area. And it's a nice little interlude before the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a ghost ship. It's just...
Well, it's not like a ghostly vibe.
Taking over monsters. So I guess, yeah, technically it's a ghost ship.
Throughout most of this dungeon, I mean, throughout most of the game, where we've been using Flare, and that is, again, because it is an extremely powerful spell when it's usable in these games. And because MP is based on each category of magic, we also don't have to worry about wasting our MP for healing or any other utility.
Healing,
we can
exit,
spam it just fine.
Healing, exit, life, and any other generic spell we need.
Yeah. So the way that the spell charges actually work in this game is that there's 4 categories of spells, and each category of spells have different. They have different, like, basically spell charges, and as you use them, you can't use the other spells. So.
And Moss picking up the Gaia armor, which is essentially one of the best armors in the game. It gives us immunity to sleep and a few other status effects. Nah, I wouldn't say you act like trash. I'd just say you enjoy a good ribbing.
So here we are, the first party member that we got in the very beginning of the game comes back, fully powered up, and with a bow, in fact.
It's actually second, but who's counting? Because we barely...
Yeah, we barely... I don't believe we...
Actually, I guess if you really want to count a certain unnamed character with a boombox. Seriously, he was listening to so much music that's why he can't hit anything. Marsha is right, it is the third. And now we're going to be driving Mac's ship. Well, we ask him how to actually operate a ship. He tells us to press A. Have you ever seen an A button on a ship?
I mean, it's more of an interact. Like, you're just hitting it. I would say that he's hitting it with the broadside. But I mean, now that we've got this ship, we can move on. And here's the amazing Doom Castle music.
Yes, which we had a sneak peek to before. Hey, my split for the actual ship would be getting lunch. Because you're going out to actually get a Mac. A Big Mac. And Mosh.
Also, for those who don't know, usually I neglected to mention the Resistant Lich earlier because with the tournament, I assume you guys have heard it a bunch. But for those who maybe are here now, stumbled upon the stream and don't know, throughout the game we've actually been using the resistances and stats of this character, Phoebe, throughout the entire game. Basically, when you load up a file, a save file, that character, your partner's stats, get moved to all of the current files while the game is launched. So.
I'll just take 4 McDoubles and just throw it all together for a giant burger.
And the sand mechanic also comes back again in this dungeon.
Oh, that, and also the boss flags were not set on any of these first few bosses, as you'll see us either life or exit them. It's kind of nice, I guess. you have the reboss fights, which is a Final Fantasy staple at this time.
Oh, and the ninjas can give some trouble. This is where there's quite a bit of RNG. Not as much as Madius would assume, but or thought, but it can. There's quite a lot. You can save quite a bit of time just not getting the death patterns.
Yeah.
Usually
Hey.
it's just there are some one-shot spells here. Mainly Doom Dance.
Hey, this is why I just choose to actually just get rid of the ninjas first. And yes, Chad, you can argue with that one. But if you ever look at regular commentary... But now... Now Mars is into the
Ice
pyramid
fight.
Yep.
Yeah, or the Ice dungeon fight thing. This is kind of the ninjas are throughout the game. Ninjas were oddly an enemy that we fought in a lot of Final Fantasies, usually in the end game.
Mid to end, I'd say. Except in, the games where you could actually be a ninja, or you would have a ninja on your party. Here's the squid again. Oddly enough, though, the ninjas were never an actual, boss. At least as far as I'm aware.
No, they're just a very powerful enemy. I mean, they were used in Final Fantasy 2 and 3, so that might be where this game decided. Because there's a little bit of nostalgia here and there in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they did. I mean, there's a quote from the, I think it was the director of this game, saying that it was like making a Game Boy game for the SNES.
Well, the developer of this game created two of the 3 Final Fantasy games on the Game Boy, or 2 of the 4, I guess, Final Fantasy games for the Game Boy.
It was Legends 2 and 3.
Yep. So he was not involved in Adventure or Legends 1. So
Yeah,
this was not exactly foreign territory for him, and so he used a lot of the techniques he used in Legends. There's actually a lot of enemies in this game as well that are shared.
Today's Shadow not ringing a bell. God. Shoutouts to 6. I'm personally a fan of Setzer in that game, but there's reasons behind that one. So I do find it amusing that they chose, every location that we would see a crystal in, but that's expected. So what do you think? Life or exit for the boss? I'm trying to remember if life works on him or not. I haven't tried that one. I hope exit does, though. And Marsh's going with the fire strats.
Oh.
Every runner in this game has their own unique strats that they'd like to use for all the bosses. And for almost all the mobs, too. Yes, exiting a boss in this is fun. And that's the stone golem. Done?
I got a little worried there from that jump. I thought he was going to jump off.
Nah.
If only there was a way to skip, somehow skip through those barriers.
I know. That's only in floor 4 that we could do that. Now, this part, I don't even remember where this was in the game. There's a fire part?
The mountain that we obviously skip is the refight. The boss as well. Very much everything here was from the fire area, but just thought that we didn't do it because we duplicated a lot, got some key items, and moved on with our lives.
Yeah,
Overflowing is wonderful. Confused on Phoebe, but it misses.
Yeah.
Oh, petrified though. Just fine though, because at this point in the game, our main character can more than deal with the enemies.
Yeah.
We're not actually as far behind as we have been in certain parts of the game. He just has to be careful not to level up too much, but he should be fine at this point in the game.
As long as he doesn't level up 3 more times, he's good.
Yeah, he should not be able to level up that far. Earth Shake coming back.
Probably not on that one. Probably not. Now, we're getting up. He's getting up to the two-headed worm. Almost a staple in classic Final Fantasies. The worm, not the two-headed one. Now, the most interesting thing is, during this time, unlike most Final Fantasies where they would not only reskin the old mobs and add, make them stronger, in this case, they just, let's just reuse the mob altogether. You don't need to reskin them.
Yeah, the enemies that you see here, if they were in earlier parts of the game, if they have the same name, they are just the same entity.
Yeah. Now,
which is why the bosses that you fight separately are renames rather than like recolors.
Yeah. Well, some of them are recolored.
Right. I mean, they're both, but if they were the same name, then they get reused. It's what makes this dungeon a lot less punishing than it could be if there was in fact new enemies.
Yeah. And Ben taking a death.
As long as it's not Phoebe, we have no way to revive Phoebe. Because, again, we skipped the life spell. So if Phoebe does die, we are out of luck. Now, luckily, this poison is not too dangerous because we do have life on Phoebe, and life does revive and remove all status elements and full heal, but unfortunately, that is Phoebe down.
It's essentially elixir.
Yeah.
Come on, Marsh, I'm rooting for you. It's time to go for the death routes. Respectable. As Mars finishes up the two-headed worm. Then one of the few bosses that from what I've heard, is apparently once we cut off one of his heads, misses the entire head completely, and then once that part's gone, he just goes to what, a one-headed worm?
I mean, it's kind of like a Hydra. He just kind of loses the head, but he can still fully live. Twin-headed Dragons usually are able to live with just their one head.
Yeah, but the problem is that usually, at that point, at least you could clearly see what happened to the old head. This one, he just loses the entire neck, too.
Notice down. Now, we are not you doing it yet, but we will actually be back on this floor later for a quick moment. Just to skip some encounters and save a lot of time.
Yeah, it's the only floor we can actually do this on. Sadly.
We're not skipping the boss or anything, or skipping those 2 barriers. We are just basically saving time by dropping from this floor to the next floor, or to the floor below.
And because the game couldn't do another elevator puzzle for us, it just made it so that we can fall between the floors.
Yeah, if we make a movement mistake.
Which I still, find it sad on that one that it couldn't have just saved us some time.
Now that battle isn't actually too bad because there's no just straight up one shots. He did play it a bit risky by not healing, and he was in death range. I don't think the two-headed dragon himself has a one-hit KO, but he does have a few 2-hit combos that will kill Phoebe. The Pazuzu, though, will do dance for days if he wants to. Sorry, Za, right. The Zoo, the refight for Pazuzu. And most people just call him Pazuzu 2 or Zuzu 2 rather than his other name, but...
Hey, that's what I just call him, Zazu. As I said. If you can't decide on the name, just call him a Zazu. I mean, it is a psychic bird that literally can kill you. Doom danced Madalahan.
Now, while we're walking through this, now we'll remind everyone we are just in round 1 of the Mystic Quest tournament. There's, I believe, it is 16 people, so there's going to be 4 rounds. Some people got a bye.
I think it's 14 only.
Well, yeah, but it's a 16-person bracket with 4. Yeah. So there's 4 rounds. And every loss is a forfeit, not forfeit. Every loss is an elimination. This is not double elim like the Limbs of the Past tournament was.
And actually, that was more of a best of 3.
And so they are moving on. He is keeping up with an okay time. It's not like the best. 2:30 is he's probably gonna be around like a 2:20, 2:25 if Pazuzu cooperates.
If Pazuzu cooperates, he can hit under a 2:20. He can. Oddly enough, this is exactly how I was with my thing going into the zoo fight. I had like 4 minutes and I still made it. It's possible. Highly improbable? No. Possible? Yes. I know chat's gonna give me crap for bringing that up, but just giving, context here.
Again, if you see wind and it's white, you're fine. But if it's yellow, you're not so fine. So that always threw me up when I was running the game. I would see wind of any kind and kind of freak out a little bit.
I know, for me...
Oh, and that one, I always like that skip there where you take that right turn there. Oh, hey, Cross Product. Thank you for the tracker.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say. They are almost up as zero. I do like that skip though, where you turn right. to clip through that. Like, well, not clip. It's not clip. It's just not programmed. And there's a give up. Insta death from there.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these encounters can just straight up kill you because they are still late game. Even the enemies that didn't change from the tower, from the original tower, they are still actually higher leveled than you, and they're
higher level,
like,
but
we are under leveled for this game.
we're always under leveled for RPGs.
Nope, not always. There are some RPGs where you where it is faster to just over level yourself. It's not uncommon.
I did not realize. You shall not pass. That's the floor below us. That's the fire floor. At least in my opinion. And now we have Jerkbird number 2.
Oh, let's hope not for 20 minutes of Doom Dance. So, Thanatos and Chimera are actually pretty dangerous enemies. So this is one of the fights where even best case scenario, you try to warp and life them away because you do not want them there.
Warp, life, single target arrow.
No, I definitely remember why I said that. That's pretty good there. That image was pretty good. Thank you very much, Cross Product.
Yeah, there's several things on that one.
So, Doom Dance, but that's on pants, so we're fine. I don't remember exactly how many attacks you need to do to
I know a few of the runners in the tournament actually have mastered it on that one. I can tell you the exact stats. I personally am not at that level yet.
I usually get to that level because this game's more of I play it because it's fun and fast, like offline. Because it's an interesting game to just kind of turn a recording on and just play through. I haven't memorized.
Yeah.
That's usually my shtick in games. This is one of the few games where I would commentate where I don't know basically everything I can know about the game.
Yeah, I'm partially the same way, though I am learning more on that one. But for me, if I'm gonna play a thing casually, I'll just, since I'm basically playing it on emulator anyway, I'll just start it and just I'll stream it. I'll try to throw up chat. And just, okay, here. Hey, what do you know? I get a good run. Then again, I'm usually experimenting with that.
Yeah, I was.
Good zoo.
I knew Zuh did it faster, but I couldn't. Yeah, don't look at the Final Fantasy wiki is trash. So.
That it is trash, and I still have to go through and do a few things on stuff. And he's now back at Khazad Doom.
And we are now going up, and as long as the final boss does have some RNG to him, but we are level 22, so we are fine. For those of you who don't know, we will be abusing that earlier, similar to the earlier bug, we'll actually be overflowing the boss's health to kill him.
With Cure!
Yep. The earliest spell we picked up will be killing the boss.
It's for over 20k worth of damage per hit.
If you're familiar with Chrono Trigger, it's somewhat similar to the Elixir overflow in that game. Using elixirs to kill bosses that have close or more than maximum health.
Yeah, and that's the basic, whole concept in here. So anyway, I still have to learn that Chrono Trigger, trick on that one.
He's like, is that all you can muster? You healed me, and suddenly pulls out a bow and arrow, which he's not equipping properly.
Sword, axe, multiple hands. Did he become Doc Ock at some point?
The bow and arrow is always the part I like. But yeah, we continue to use life and cure and push him over the edge on healing. Basically, we are again overflowing his HP. And this makes the final boss not only very safe, but very fast.
And Moss is done.
Yeah, that was very strange. Ben went first for some reason.
With a 219 official SR time of 219.44.
Yeah, even though the game technically sells credits, obviously the RTA community for MarsheValias ends right there. So it's a 219, not a bad time for a race, especially considering it wasn't like the best Pazuzu tower and stuff.
And I'm pulling Marsh in right now for an interview if he's interested.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
So that happened.
Yeah, that did happen. It's unfortunate. And condolences to Couch that happened. Real life sucks.
Yeah, no joke. I hope your kids are, man.
To be fair, you were ahead basically the whole time.
Yeah, aside from the very first fight, once we got up to the Bone Dungeon, that's when I pulled ahead.
He had a really unlucky early Bone Dungeon, and I think he had to reset a few times in the earlier encounters, as well as just not having the fastest patterns. So he did pull ahead. He was catching up though, right close to Aquaria due to your bad mid-game luck. I remember just before the tree, you had some pretty rough Ice Palace fights.
And a few of them, but
he also had an almost it was more the exit battlefield.
Yeah,
a lot of.
I think I counted it up to was what 6.
No, it was 5.
That was
5.
5, and Martian chat said 5.
Yeah,
but, all around that was fine. I mean, a 219 isn't the worst time to get when you have luck like you did.
Yeah.
I don't know who your next opponent is. Are you playing one of the top seeds next, or?
Let me take a gander. Pull up the list here. The challenge. So that would either be Opus or Scratch Dragon. So I mean, I think I think my luck's about to run out.
It's not. I'll hopefully try to come up with a strat for you to help if I can.
Well, clearly pants percent is not the way to go.
Oh, hey. I know Elmegas, I think it was what RPG Chick or Elmegas suggested about doing a jump percent.
What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the Ben going first there?
My thought to that was, okay, that happened.
Hey, I've had that happen before. I want to know how the hell I did that, so I know for the future how to do that on earlier fights.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing that any of us would have had control over. That was literally just luck and bad luck at that.
I don't know 100% on how speed works in this game, but I do assume that it's just there's also a random number rolled for speed. But I don't know the mechanics super tight in this game.
I don't
very similar to
all know this.
But yeah, no, that was a great race, and I do wish you luck in your next round. It's unfortunate that wasn't like a full race, but it was a good run.
Oh yeah, it definitely was not a terrible run at all. Well, compared to my last couple ones, because literally all 3 of the races in the first set was back-to-back PBs.
Yeah,
and literally all 3 of them with 6-4. I don't think that luck was not going to continue.
Yeah, I remember telling you about that one.
Yeah, because when I went up, when I got to the 6-4 in Pazuzu, I looked, I was like, yeah, he's not there. I didn't expect him to be there 4 times in a row, because besides these runs, I haven't been doing any other runs. It's literally been, they were all back-to-back 6-4 or oh yeah, I guess it was all back-to-back 6-4 BBs, but I meant to say Pazuzu. I
mean, at the very least, you're not your Pazuzu luck is consistent.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Maybe, and then I'll just butt DDR noob even more because he thinks that it's manipulatable if you do some things correctly throughout the entire game. Just leading him to believe that maybe save and resetting is a thing you need to do, but that would ruin resistance glitch, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So. But I
Yeah.
think that if you could get a consistent floor, a consistent good floor in Pazuzu's Tower, you'd probably take losing the resistance glitch for the last 2 parts of the game. Maybe.
Yeah,
But
I know there's been a huge debate about whether or not. I mean, if either time with Tristan actually added more resistances, there's been a debate about taking it because he actually is the only character to resist
Fire.
one hits.
Oh yeah, that too. The one hits and fire.
yeah, so it would actually really improve the consistency of the final dome. But I believe it's against the rules to load up another file, so it's not like you could have 2 files set up for the glitch. Like
Oh
load into
yeah, no,
one folder. So
that
that's-
wouldn't work at all.
No.
Just from
Unfortunately.
beginning to end, straightforward.
Yeah.
I think me and one of the other people had a question about that one, or a discussion on that one, as to what would happen if or if not you actually were to load up a basic after a party member left file, and then were to load up a saved file again from another point, and then load it like that. What would happen?
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I can see from that is it's still gonna use the stats from the last.
Yeah,
load.
it would use the stats of the first tier person you got, because when you load up a fresh chart, everything works fine.
Yeah.
So the resistance glitch, it only matters for loading up new files.
Yeah.
You would be stuck with the first character the whole game. So resistances, unless you save and reset. So that's
Yes.
what happens. That's what happens. The resistance glitch isn't noticeable in casual play because you'd be saving and resetting. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty good. Hopefully, I don't know when the next match is.
I can pull that up if you'd like, as I've got the Discord open.
It will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. So that should be roughly back to back on this channel. I won't be here for commentary for either of those. I might be here for the Sunday one if I haven't moved yet. I don't know.
Oh,
yet.
right.
I know
So
I know I've offered to help for that one. I know I can't help on Saturday because I've got a birthday party to attend to for my nephew. And then, but for Sunday, I know Cyclone is going to be helping out with that one. And,
Right.
that should be an interesting one.
Oh yeah, and if I could do anything over the weekend, I would. But I literally work 20 hours over the weekend, so there's no chance for me to do literally anything.
I'm. You play on the Wii. Cute.
Cute.
I didn't even know it was on the Wii U.
No, this is just the regular Wii.
Oh, sorry. I didn't even realize it was on the Wii. That's cool. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think we can sign off. I believe that there's Majora's Mask going on Speed Gaming 1.
I think so.
And
No,
that's
it's almost
pretty
over.
sweet. So make sure to follow this channel and the other channel. And you can do things like subscribing and such, obviously, and that would be awesome because these tournaments are some of the cool stuff in the speedrunning community. So everyone, I think that we're good to sign off. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you guys take it easy. Have a good night.
Yep.
Good night.
Oh.
I can't remember if I have to message. If I have to
Remember to
selfie-
follow the runners and everything else. And also remember, if you want any more information about this or any other upcoming events, I forget what the command is for it. Someone in chat will probably say it. I'm sorry, I'm still learning. But other things that are currently going on, you apparently got a Castlevania 4 tournament coming up. You have the Super Metroid Item Randomizer tournament going on. The Mega Man X3 tournament near the end. You have the Majora's Mask Bingo. And some of the upcoming ones are Diddy Kong Racing, which you can still sign up for. Same thing with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, a Metroid Fusion 100% tournament, a Legends of Zelda Link's Awakening, any percent tournament at Earthbound. I'm not sure of the thing. And then you have, starting in September, the randomizer for A Link to the Past open mode tournament, and then a Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment tournament, and then Binding of Isaac in October.
That is a lot.
Yeah. And for myself, our runners, and everybody else, have fun. Enjoy yourselves this weekend. And have a pleasant day.
Yep, you guys take it easy. Have a good night.